Hi stamping friends, Melissa Kerman here with Melissa's Crafting Treehouse. Today I have a simple multi-fold fun fold project, and I'm going to be featuring the Tasteful Touches stamp set. Now this is a club and free card kit project for July and August. It's one of 3 projects, and I'm just going to show you quickly how this card works, and then we'll get started. So we've got this little fun flap here, almost an arm, and then these 2 stamp pieces here, and then it opens up like that. So just a little bit different, and I think really fun. So we're going to get started with stamping what is really the card base. It's a simple 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of cardstock, and then I've got another piece of cardstock. This is my arm, if you will, and this is also in gray granite. I'm going to be using gray granite ink with the feather image in this set, both for the arm piece and the base piece. Now for the base, I'm just going to be stamping images along the edge, and this will just give it some nice texture along the edge of the card. I really only have to stamp on one side of my arm piece. The other is going to be hidden in behind the mechanics of the card. Next, I'm going to stamp on 4 different pieces for my card. My inside piece, my front focal piece, and then I've got 2 smaller inside pieces. And I'm going to do all the stamping at once, and then I'll do some coloring after that. So I'm using my Memento black ink with this floral image from the stamp set. And you want to make sure that this image is well inked because it's very detailed, and sometimes the ink won't show up in the middle. Now I'm going to use my foliage image. I'm going to stamp some elements along the bottom in first and second inking, and then I'm going to do the same thing along the top, essentially just framing my flower. Now this piece is going to be on the diagonal, sort of a diamond shape, and all of these images are done with full ink. Now I'm working on the 3rd stamp piece, starting with the You're So Special sentiment in Memento Black, and then the foliage in the same ink. And last but not least, I'm going to stamp this same foliage image on the inside piece to decorate the inside of my card. Next, I'm going to use my gray granite ink and stamp images in a few select spots with this image from the set. And I am going to use a variety of first and second inking on this piece, first and second ink, and then again first and second ink. This stamping of this second image in the gray granite is the same. So first ink and then second ink, first ink and second ink. Now each of these pieces are going to get colored in various ways. I'm going to hold off on that for the moment. So I've got my card base and my arm, as I like to call it. It's essentially a bit of a hinge. So I'm going to take some tear and tape and use it on the back side of my hinge. I want this to be extra strong since it'll be under some pressure because of the fun fold. And I'm just going to center this top to bottom and justify it so that it's right up against the right side of the card base. Now I'm going to get started with coloring all the elements of my 4 pieces that I stamped earlier. Now you can color your flower in a whole variety of ways. I went with a blue color scheme, and here I'm coloring in the whole thing with my dark Balmy Blue Blends alcohol marker. Now I've also at other times started with the light Balmy Blue, but this time I started with the dark. And then I'm going to come in with my light Night of Navy Blends alcohol marker and just do some accents throughout the flower. And I'm using the lines that are on the image itself, which show where the shading really should be. So it makes it really easy to figure out where to put the darker elements. And then I'm going to come back in with my dark balmy blue to blend the night of navy. And then I came back in with my light balmy blue to do some more shading. And last but not least, on this focal piece, I'm using my Mint Macaron Stampin' Write marker to color in the foliage. Now these images are too small to really do any significant blending anyway, so the marker works just perfectly for this. So all the stamped pieces have this foliage on it, and so for each one I'm just coloring in all of those leaves with my Mint Macaron marker. So now I'm working on the second one. This third one has fewer elements, so it's a little bit quicker. And that's of course another one of the inside pieces. And then last but not least, I'm coloring the foliage on the inside piece of the card, which of course is where you would write your note. And there are all my finished colored pieces ready to be assembled. So next I'm going to attach all these pieces to their respective backings. And those smaller squares go on early espresso cardstock, and of course the inside piece is going on the inside of the card. Now for this card, I've cut a variety of designer paper pieces from the In Good Taste suite. As you can see here, I've used one of the wood grain patterns for the finished card, but you can use, of course, this wood grain, or there's ones with a stone wall. This one is more like fabric, and of course panels of wood, and they each look really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and choose one. I think I'll use this one. I'm going to take my inside piece and attach it to the inside. And then this piece is going to get attached over the top of my arm piece. Next, I'm going to get the positioning of my other pieces. Now my Mint Macaron piece is going to be on the diamond, and as you can see, I'm going to need adhesive here and then coming to the point. So with my adhesive, I've just mimicked that triangular shape. And I want to make sure that there's a same amount of space over here on the arm as on the left side of the card as well, so that it's centered. And then it will also be centered top to bottom with about the same amount of space up here as here. I'm not going to press it down because I want to make sure that I got it just so. And that looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to attach this piece to here, and again, this shape is going to cover the square in the center, so that's where I'm going to put my adhesive. And the triangles on each corner should be the exact same size, and the same spacing. You should have the same spacing or the same amount of designer paper showing on either side of this espresso piece, your focal piece. And then I'm just going to open it up. My You're So Special piece is going to get put right here. Now you'll notice the espresso piece here is smaller than the front piece, and that's just so that it's hidden. And so I want to make sure that it's hidden when I cover it up. This piece right here is going to just get centered so that it also has the Mint Macaron edging on either side. So I'm going to start with that one. And this piece, of course, should have the same amount of designer paper showing on the right and on the left. Should be centered top to bottom on my arm. And you can kind of eyeball. It should be centered on this espresso piece as well. And if it's centered top to bottom relative to this espresso piece, you'll also make sure that it's hidden in behind. So let's just make sure, and there it is. So then I can go ahead and press it down, and there we go. There's my finished card. As a reminder, this is one of my 3 July-August 2020 club and free card kit projects. To get free card kits, all you have to do is place a qualifying order in my online store. Plus, first-time customers get all 3 kits regardless of the order size. To learn more about how you can get free card kits, check out the link in the video description below. I hope you enjoyed my project today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for spending some time with me today, and happy crafting!